Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. In today's video, I'm going to be experimenting with the prop box and to see how it fares compared to plants that were propagated without a propagation box. And just as a disclaimer, I'm a little bit biased because I do tend to propagate my plants right out here in the open. Even if it's indoors, it just kind of grow it in open air. I've always questioned about propagation boxes. A lot of the gurus here in Indonesia, a lot of the masters of plants, they swear by propagation boxes. They say that they create, the humidity. It really causes them to root faster and grow better. But there are a lot of pros and cons about propagation boxes. Again, theoretically, because I have actually kept a prop box before and I failed, only because one, I overwatered it because I am an overwaterer, but also because I might have kept it in too hot of a condition. It was actually sitting out in full sun. It's got a lid, so it's got a closest to the plants are not getting burnt by the direct light. But the fact that it's outside getting, the full sun, whenever I open the box, it'll be like a steam bath for my face. That's just how hot it is in there. So I want to keep this propagation box in medium light condition, and I also want to keep it a little bit shaded, but it's relatively bright. A lot of the people who grow their propagation boxes actually have them in lower light conditions, and I've questioned a few people and they said basically when a lot of these plants, when they propagate themselves in nature, the leaves or nodes would fall out from the rainforest, from the higher canopy. They'll fall down below where it's actually a little bit more humid, a little bit more muddy down below, and that is when they will root better. So they are used to that kind of low light, high humidity environment. Although in my experience, that's also the recipe of rotting them. So I'm going to try them out this time. In today's video, I have a lot of these Philodendron, hederaceum, micans. This is going to become our subject here. So I've got these single leaf cuttings, not rooted. They're not, they're bare root, but they're going to be, propagating. They're going to set root into the potting mix. So I'm going to put maybe 5 of them in here, and then we're going to compare it with the rest of the siblings that were grown either indoors or grown out in right out here in open air. So we're gonna do that. And the way that I would care for this is to just keep it lightly, I just want to see condensation on the box here, but I don't really want to water this. I don't want to keep it waterlogged. In my previous failed attempt, I actually had so much water that there's algae in here. There's actually water sloshing around in the propagation box, and that's the wrong way to do it. So this time I'm just gonna keep it like this. I think 4 pots should just about do it. Yeah, that's enough and all of these have 8 leaves and they're relatively around the same size. So yeah, hopefully this is a pretty fair experiment. But of course, a lot of different species of plants are gonna perform differently in propagation boxes. But I guess the Philodendron hederaceum would be a pretty good standard, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys an update in a few months to see how well these guys do compared to those ones over there. Welcome to a 2 months update. I just wanted to show you what this looks like, and I want to share how I've been caring for it actually. I do water this very lightly because every 3, 5 or 7 days, whenever I can remember, I just open the box for about half an hour to let some of the condensation out, to let it breathe. But I did notice that the more leaves have grown, the more thirstier it gets, the more dry the air gets here. So the water may have gone into the plant since it's no longer in circulation around here, which is very interesting. So they've done really, really well in here, surprisingly. I used to kill a lot of these prop box propagation, so I managed to get the conditions right. They're indoors, in cool air, so they don't get that hot outdoor direct sunlight where I had them before in my other experiments. Medium indirect light. And yeah, so these are, I would say, grown really well in 2 months. But I want to compare these to maybe these two here, because they're grown in the same room. This one was grown in natural light, and as you can see, the growth here is not as much as the ones in there, but the difference is really hard to tell. And these ones here are actually grown under grow lights in the same room. So the lights are on 16 hours a day, and it's pretty bright, and they get it consistently throughout the day, whereas this one may have some cloudy days in between. I don't know, man. I think that the ones that were grown in grow light here, at first glance, seems to do the best compared to these. I have failed to find that putting plants in tented humidity propagation box like this, where the humidity is about 100%, is better than outside. I haven't found that at all. I think it's the same. And I do want to mention one con with propagation box that nobody talks about, and that is that when you have these plants grown in 90 to 100% humidity for 2 months, and then you release them or you sell them or you just want to set them free, they may decline because they will be stressed out. So the leaves may have some infections on them. You will see some yellowing because they're just suddenly shocked with the transition. Although one can argue that you could open them slowly, just kind of lift the lid on for a bit, just so that they, and get used to the gradually increasing airflow and decreasing of humidity. And over the next few weeks, you could open it even wider and things like that. All that does take time and planning. So yeah, just keep in mind when you have them in prop boxes like this, they do well. It's a good way to rehab plants too. So that's one pro of it. If you have really, really sick plants that really need humidity, this is a good emergency situation to take care of them. But keep in mind, you do need to acclimatize them to normal air like this, like now. Otherwise they will be in shock. So I would say that those grown outdoors, because they're adapted to the conditions outside already, they're gonna take off much faster in this case. So I haven't really been sold at this propagation box setup. I know that many people swear by it. I'm so sorry, but this is showing me that it's about the same. Maybe this is made around 5 to 10% faster or better than these guys here who are grown outside, but I still find that good light, good care is still the key in growing these out. And maybe there's also a possibility that the species matter. Maybe some species are extremely sensitive to humidity, like begonias and some anthuriums, and they may do much better in this setup. But in general, for plants, 100% humidity doesn't mean it's gonna do faster. It doesn't mean it's gonna grow bigger leaves. At least that's what is shown in this experiment. But I do want to quickly show you down here the siblings that were grown outdoors, and this is in medium light because there's a shelf here. So the leaves are actually looking at this. So they're not getting good light at all. And this is getting very good airflow, pretty good humidity, about, I don't know, 70-80%, and they get rained on whenever. They seem to do okay, but they seem to be quite slow growing because I think of the lower light level than the siblings that we've seen earlier. So yeah, I guess however way you propagate it, I think it's not gonna make so much of a difference. I'm not going to be buying more of these bins and propagating more plants in them because I don't know, I don't think that they are significant enough for me to invest, because these are all plastic waste, just so you know. When we are done with this world, when we pass away, all these are going to remain in our children's oceans. So keep that in mind when you're doing your propagation setups of environmental factors. Sometimes you really don't need them, unless maybe if you're living in a Western civilization where your humidity dips to, like, I don't know, 10% in the winter time, then I would say maybe this is the better way for you to do it. But here in Southeast Asia, where humidity is above 50% and sometimes even go peak at 90% outdoors, unnecessary. So yeah, thank you. I hope that this video is helpful. I do welcome any kind of feedback, and I do welcome your experiences, so please do share them. Let me know if I've done anything wrong or if you've had any success with these. I'm at Botanist on Instagram if you want to DM me on any questions regarding plant care and propagations. I'll try my best to get back to you. Meanwhile, do take care and stay safe. I will see you in the next video. Bye.